Getting a sub 7-minute run in Soulstone Survivors can be quite challenging. It unlocks another rune slot or another rune point, so you can get, additional runes. And I have failed so far. Every single time I try to do it with all kind of fancy builds where you had to rely on things that were not easily obtained, as in you had to reset a lot. So my idea was, how about we just get an army going? Just get a lot of summonings, get a proficiency for shadow types, so just something that on the first level up for a weapon, we will get a shadow weapon, and that makes it very easy to get the weapons that we want. Sure, it may not work out the very first time you get the weapon, you have to reset, but I got it on the first try. Aside from this, you pretty much just want to go for everything that is the strongest. I think area is incredibly important to begin with, but then you quickly want to switch for damage. And this run here, as I said, is my first attempt on this. And it was right away a win, but you'll see a lot of issues. I will talk about them, what you should maybe make different. But here we go, we have the archers, and the archers are amazing. You will see that I will walk towards the corner here and stand inside of the corner. I actually don't believe that this is the best way of doing it. You are better off if you have some distance towards the corner, so more enemies spawn in the corner, and your archers can kill them. Skill-wise, the first one that we have just gives us the additional weapon here, that we heal our summonings, which is, to be honest, not really that much needed, but it's a nice little boost, I had a free point there. The second one is that chaos weapons, or in general, weapons with a range, roll twice, and then take the higher number, which is incredibly good, since we will take one chaos weapon. The next one is just a further dash distance. To be fair, I could have not taken that, and also not the first one that gives us the additional weapon, and taken something else that gives me bonus damage. The one thing you will see is we have more than enough area, but we are lacking damage. If I just had one power up that gives damage, this would have been more than enough. Like for example, the one where you get 5% damage for every single active weapon type that you currently have. And then the last two ones are just that shadow weapons are more likely. So right now we can see we are heading towards a 2-minute spawn of a boss, which is ridiculously early. Usually you get them at 2:15 to 2:30, depending on what build you go for. Like there are some builds that are a little bit slower in the beginning, but then they ramp up in speed quite a lot. And this one here is just all the time really good. What you saw me take there is agile. I'm not saying that all the picks that I have here are amazing, but I did a couple more runs and all of them were sub 7 minutes. I did 4 in total and not a single one went over 7 minutes. Chaos Golem here, it's a strong one, it's fine, but I'm actually not too much of a fan of the melee guys. And did you see what the boss was doing there? That was a rave party. No, but I think the melee guys could actually be a problem, and you rather want to have only the range guys, and maybe go for multiple same weapons, though that takes up a lot of points. I don't know, I don't think that's good. Just do whatever I'm showing here, because it did work for me multiple times, it should also work for you. But yeah, I will keep going for damage upgrades and area upgrades with the priority of area. But I don't agree anymore that this is the best choice to go for. I think, as I said, some area is good. Maybe 50 to 100% that the AoE of the skeletons is bigger, that the AoE of the melee attacks of the Chaos Golems is bigger. But aside from this, don't care about it too much. Damage is still king. Just nuking everything that spawns later on is incredibly important, since your skeleton warriors, they will hold up some of the enemies, and if they take too long to kill them, it's not great. Here we actually have the Chaos Bomb. I'm not sure, do I take it already? Because I did want to take it. Yeah, there we go. This is the Control Chaos here. And I think I will take it here. Yeah, okay, good. Now we don't heal our summonings anymore, doesn't matter. We spawn more than enough of them, and they will never really die. They will get low against some of the bosses, but we quickly get them back. And the problem is rather that we don't have an alternative that we can use for. Also, one thing that I'm kinda doing wrong is, I'm right now shooting outwards with the Chaos Bomb. It shoots where your cursor is, and you rather want to shoot that behind you into the corner, that the things that spawn there die as fast as possible. I'm not too sure how you should optimize in regards to when do I go out to get experience. Do I just wait for the bosses and stay here so the enemy spawn as close as possible? Or do I go out just like I did it right now to get the experience, get some level ups and speed up the killing process? But I think as long as you have enough damage, you don't need that. But it's a little bit hard to see, because the enemies die off screen. It may even be possible that you can literally just stand in the middle of the screen, like without doing it in a corner, and you still kill everything. Because you have so many archers and so many wizards that everything gets nuked the moment it spawns, but I haven't tried that. Next up we have Fragility. Fragility will be very nice to defeat stronger enemies, as well as bosses of course. We have the Hounds here, and the way I decided it for myself was I either go for the Chaos Golem or for the Hounds, whatever shows up first. Relentless is of course amazing, more attack speed means we summon faster in case they die, but obviously also our summonings summon faster. And I have this unconfirmed, so take it with a grain of salt, but what I was told is that the summons only get the buffs from the stat upgrades that you get per level up once you own them. So let's say we only have the Skeletal Warrior and we constantly buff them up like crazy, and then we get all the other summonings. Apparently it doesn't apply to them, only the ones that you already have, so make sure that you get all of them very quickly, and if you don't get them, simply reset. While doing the voiceover, I actually got curious whether you can do this without the starting weapon, and I failed. I couldn't do it. I think it's a typical snowball effect where you want to make sure that you level up as quickly as possible. So you get the archers, you get the mages. It also means if you don't get them, don't take another weapon, just restart until you get them, so you can kill as many enemies as possible. The dash distance also helps to get into the corner, and in the testing, stay in the corner, okay? You can have some distance in the corner itself, but make sure that you are not out in the open. Your archers will shoot all around the place, but the bigger issue is that the explosions from the mages, they just hit way less enemies. Like here the enemies only have 1/4 of the screen where they could be, that means they're way more accumulated, and that makes it a lot easier to obviously hit clumped up enemies, again also snowball effect. In regards to collecting experience, it is better if you actually go out and collect it from time to time, but then quickly go back. Agile, I reconfirmed that, it helps out a ton, that your units are just way faster and get to the enemies faster, but area is more important than I thought it is. Like I said, get 50% to 100% was like, yeah, you know, it's probably good. I don't get it, trust me. You want to have a lot of bonus area, that the explosions of the mages hit a huge amount of enemies that walk in. One thing I didn't test, and that made me interesting, is this map here actually the best one? Because you can see on the top right, there is a wall, and I think you can't shoot arrows through that, nor do the wizards target the enemies behind that. So you may be better off if you go to a map that has a corner where there is no cutoff. I don't even know if that exists, you know, I'm just saying theory crafting. But again, even here, I got the sub 7 minutes, and the only time now where I didn't get a sub 7 minute one was where I didn't have the additional starting weapon. Now we just killed the 4th boss at 5 minutes 30, that is quite early. The Chaos Bomb is also something interesting. In my testing it was faster when I had the dogs now to kill the enemies, and I think it has rather to do that they help killing the enemies, as in they bunch up into the stronger ones so they don't survive that long. But when you get to bosses, it takes longer to take down the bosses, not that much, but all in all, both of them were okay. Like, I didn't see a significant difference where I took the doggies and then it was like, oh yeah, I saved 10 to 20 seconds. But if you do this, then please let me know what weapons you went for, because one that I could definitely see being exchanged is the Chaos Bomb. Just for something that hits all around the place, maybe even shadow weapons, since you also tend to get a lot of upgrades for shadow weapons. So if you have something like the, what is it called, the ball that flies around and hits around it, if you have that and you target it towards the top right corner here, it would fly out and hit a ton of enemies. Or you could obviously just target the corner on the bottom left if you don't trust into your archers or your mages to kill the enemies fast enough. But honestly, everything that spawns out there dies rather quickly, but not always precisely. Another thing is, if you can get magnetic early, I highly recommend taking it. The main reason being that you can just collect way more experience if you dash out and immediately go back into your corner. Having more range is very beneficial, but obviously you also level up more, and similar to leveling up fast in the beginning, where this weapon, the additional one that I started with, was so helpful, this also helps that you just reach these area milestones faster, that you can switch over to damage. Now there we go, it's finished. 656 is obviously very, very close. Now if you follow what I did, this should definitely work for you. Maybe not on the first try, there's always RNG in the things that you get, but if you want to see more Soulstone Survivors, then check out the playlist in the pinned comment. I just lately uploaded a no movement challenge, and I will upload another one without summons. Don't forget to subscribe. See you the next time.